Hello, guys. Today we are doing our podcast in English, Dance Boss Lady. And the topic of today is how to become a professional dancer. So if you are here because you want to know how to become a professional dancer, or if you are curious about how people actually become professional dancers, you are in the right place because I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 ways in which dancers like salsa and bachata dancers get considered to be professional, and therefore I'm gonna also share with you tips on how you can speed up that process, or maybe not speed it up but like get it in a proper way. Okay, so for those of you guys who are not who are here for the first time, this is a podcast that I'm recording, and I'm actually recording it on this other device. And thank you so much for joining me on this podcast, Dance Boss Lady. And today we are going to be talking about how you become a professional salsa or bachata dancer. Some of us have gotten messages as well from kizomba dancers, from zouk dancers. Actually, the topic that I spoke about today in Spanish was a request from a kizomba dancer. So yeah, I'm just gonna say from our community, how do you become a professional dancer in our community? So if you are curious about how you can become a professional, or how others become professionals, or what is considered a professional, or how do you speed up that process, or what's the path that you need to take, please write over here in the comments and say yes, or put a little hand or something, thumbs up. And today I'm going to explain how is it that one gets considered to be a professional in salsa and bachata in this community or in this industry. Okay, so the very first way you get considered to be a professional salsa dancer is whenever you start making money. Okay, so if you want to become a professional dancer, one thing you can do is just start charging for what you do. Okay, obviously that's not that is not what I would recommend, because I believe, actually, like, I don't align myself with the idea that people are professionals just because they charge. Because in reality, a lot of people have a lot of, I don't know, reasons why they charge. And they're not professional dancers because they're not advanced. But the competitions consider them professionals. So that's an easy way to become a professional. Just start charging for what you do. Obviously, that's not what I would suggest. I would suggest that in order to become a professional, you become a professional. Okay. So, but that's simply what is considered a professional. I think that they took this from the ballroom industry. However, ballroom does have scales. They have stages in which, like a ballroom dancer starts as an amateur and can be an amateur for many years, because going to the next level requires so much time and so much effort and so much talent, and they gotta go through so many hoops, and they gotta pass so many exams in order to be able to even perform on stage. And then, that in our case, that's definitely not happening. So that's the reason why, like, I think that it's a good idea that they took that from ballroom, but then what's a bad idea is that the way they implement it is very different than ours. I feel that the fact that we make people professionals just because they make money is actually hindering the the industry, because it's just not taking into account the effort, the talent, the level of skill, and it's just not good. Okay, but it is what it is. So the moment you start charging, then in that moment you become a professional. Okay, that will be number one, the easiest one, and the most obvious one. The second way you become a professional in this industry is by winning enough competitions as an amateur. Some countries, like my country, if you win one competition as an amateur, you are automatically considered a pro. Like if you win, like any of the competitions, there's only like 3 competitions in Mexico. And they've decided that if you win, then you are a professional. And then also some people don't even win the first place, and they still consider them professionals after they've competed so many times. For instance, like if somebody gets to compete for 3 years in amateur, a lot of them are considered now professionals. So that's another way you can become a professional, by winning competitions as an amateur, winning first or second or third place. Sometimes it's even just competing for a long time, then they move you up to professional. And then the third way is when you join a professional team. So the moment you are in a semi-pro team and then you move up to a pro team, then you are considered a professional. So as you can imagine, this is a very, it's like a double-edged sword. It has so many complexities to it. So if I was to tell you guys, how do you become a professional? I think that becoming a professional is extremely easy based on this criteria that I just gave you. It's these 3 ways, and it's super easy. Anybody can do it. But if do I think that this criteria is beneficial? No. Do I think that's the only way we can do so far? Yes, definitely. I can imagine that the owners of the competitions, they need to control somehow the levels. And this is the only way they can do it at this point, because I feel like the industry is so convoluted and there's no standards and there's no ranking and there's no, there's like no organization. Anybody can teach, anybody can perform, anybody can compete, anybody can build a professional team. So there's nothing that tells you that that you're not a pro, and then also anybody can do a competition, and competitions are not all tied together in where they could give points in a different way. For instance, if competitions had different ranking and then dancers had different ranking, then you could be it would be a little bit harder to just become a professional automatically. But that's just not how it is right now. So at this point, this is how you become a professional. You become a teacher, which is the easiest way to make money, because you won't be able to earn money by performing unless you perform at like local events, or like those industry, like when you go and perform at parties, like corporate parties and stuff, then the moment you make money, then you get considered to be a professional. So, but the easiest way is just to start teaching. And you know that you can teach anywhere for very little money. And it's very easy. So at this point, I think that that's like the best way to do it, the easiest way to do it. Now, if you want to really become a professional, I would start by separating. I wouldn't say that you got to start separating the industry in segments. I think that we need to do it. Everybody needs to, like, we have to come up with this separation between being a teacher, being a performer, being a coach, being a choreographer, being a promoter, and being a competitor. Okay, there should be a difference between each and every one of them. Why? Because the moment we start creating a difference, then we like a separation, and meaning that not one is better than the other, but each one is in its own category. Then what's going to happen is that those categories are going to start building depth below. So for instance, as a teacher, at this moment, you can become a teacher just by deciding that you're going to be a teacher. You don't need to have any knowledge of anything. You can just go onto YouTube and copy some moves and then just go and transmit those moves to anyone at a gym or anywhere. If you have a lot of personality, you can just do it. Right? Like if you have that in your mind, you can just do it. There's nothing stopping you from that. But if we separated that industry and we made it more legitimate, then we would have teachers actually study to be teachers, actually study to be transferring this information, having responsibility to be teaching the culture the proper way, teaching the dance the proper way, teaching social dancing, teaching musicality, teaching history, teaching kinesiology, teaching technique, teaching everything. For instance, if you're teaching social dancing, you should not be teaching any ballet. But if you're teaching to be on stage, you need to know technique, dance technique. You need to. But at this moment, anybody can teach. So, but the moment we separate it, we can become real professional, like really, really professional dancers, professional teachers. So the moment we separate it and we give every single category or every single space, it's not like it's like a area of expertise, or it's an area of development, where you could have the teachers that are teachers for social dancing should only be teaching that. And then that would mean that teacher would focus on just teaching that, would take classes, would be getting certified, would be getting really deep into it, right? And then this person's students will really learn, right? And then the promoters who put together socials then would really get people who are interested in social dancing, because then this would have that kind of depth, right? That's just not the way it is right now, but I have faith that it will get to that point. For those of you guys who are interested in getting certified to become a teacher, let me know, send me a message, because we're doing this in Mexico. It's an online program that is a year and a half, and is certified by the Educational Department of Mexico. So I'm very excited for that. But we want to take it everywhere in the world. So if you guys are interested, let me know, send me a message. But anyway, so that would be for teachers, right? And then imagine if at this moment anybody can teach and anybody can do anything. So then that's the reason why everybody is promoter, teacher, performer, competitor, judge, everything, right? And then we don't become good at anything, and then we're like, honestly, we're killing the industry because of that. But if we separated it, then we could give each, imagine that this is like, it goes like this way, right? So people are going teaching, coaching, choreographing, judging, competing, this, that, and everything, right? So you don't have the time to get depth into it. Like I'm making this in this space. Like imagine there's a graph here, right? If we separated this and then we made it deep, like you take all these classes, all these exams, then you can become a teacher. Then all the social dancers know how to do lead and follow. They know musicality. They know history. They know the music. They know what they're doing. They know how to lead. They know how to follow everything. So imagine that social, how that's gonna look amazing, right? Now we have people that are going on stage, right? If we had people going on stage and becoming real professional on stage, what would that look like? I'm not talking about how it looks right now. I'm talking about right now you can be a professional only if you make money, right? So you can go on stage and make money, maybe not in a Congress, because no, but if you can go anywhere and then just perform and then make money off of it, then you're considered a pro. That's not what I'm suggesting here. I'm suggesting to take the other route and just become a real professional. So how do you become a professional performer? Well, you take classes for performing. So you take technique, definitely, because you can't be going on stage and dancing social dancing, or the worst is going up there and performing salsa looking like you're dancing gymnastics, or doing ballet mixed with salsa and you don't even know what ballet looks like or what it should look like, but you're still doing it. So that's like, it's really awful. And in order to become a professional, I think that you should restrain yourself, like don't add any fusion, don't add any technical moves when you don't know how to perform the technical moves. And if you want to, then become a professional by studying. Hire a teacher that is only going to teach you that. Then take a class of theater, take a class of stage presence. I mean, if you want to be a performer and a professional performer, I would suggest that what we should do is just focus on that, and just, if that's what you want to do, then become a professional, but by getting all this education and getting all this content and all this quality in your work. Okay. Now, if you want to be a professional coach, then take classes to become a coach. Don't just go and then start teaching people a choreography that you took from YouTube or from somewhere else. Become a professional by studying how to make choreography. Go to school to study that. Become a real professional, and then you'll be a professional. Okay. Then I think that right now the way we are considering people to be professionals is the standard is really low in every area. So that's the reason why, like, I think that we should step back a little bit and know that we should do better for ourselves, for our industry, for our community. And at no point I'm trying to point any fingers, guys. I'm just saying that we should strive to become professionals by being professional. Even like there were people asking me or telling me, there's also a thing behind the word professional, like being professional also in your work, like not being rude, not being unprofessional, like being early to your work. If you're going to be a teacher, being kind, being knowledgeable, being respectful. That's also a part of being a professional, right? So we should strive to do that. And in any other way, guys, I think that it's not that hard becoming a professional. Right now, being named a professional is the easiest thing in the world. But becoming a professional, a real professional that will stay for a longer time, is not that hard. You just need to really focus not on what makes you famous, not on what makes you makes you to be called a professional, but like to really become a professional. It's not that hard, but it's not as simple as it's made to be. So I would really encourage you guys that you don't try becoming a professional by winning amateur competitions, and don't try to become a professional by joining a pro team. Because chances are that pro team is not even pro. It's just like pro because nobody says otherwise. But it's not really people that are professional dancers, right? So I think that the best way is to become a professional dancer or professional teacher. Choose one of the two and really focus on that. Go from the base, go from the fundamentals, and build your career on that. And then go little by little. Be patient. Don't chase fame. Don't chase recognition, because in the end, that's only gonna stay there until the next other famous person comes in. When you don't have nothing backing you up, when you don't have real knowledge backing you up, when you don't have real content, real work ethic, real professionalism backing you, then you're only gonna last until the next person comes along. But when you're constantly studying, when you're constantly preparing yourself, when you're constantly becoming better and trying to become a real professional, you're gonna be there forever until you want to stop being a professional. Okay, so that's my my advice for today, guys. Study, focus. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I can give you guys a program, a strategy to become a professional or whatever you want to become. And it's, as I said before, it's simple. I mean, it's not that hard, but it's not that simple. Okay? It's complex, but easy. Easy, not fast, but easy. Because anybody can study, anybody can be humble, anybody can be disciplined, anybody can be consistent, anybody can be a good person, anybody can be humble, ethical, anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, you can always be that. And as long as you are those things, you will be able to get on the path to become a professional anytime. Notice how I never mentioned talent, because that's not what really makes you a professional. What makes you a professional is being professional, okay, and going paying your dues, going step by step, and making that path of yours very, very solid. Thank you so much, you guys.